We don't know much about liquor. Join us as we endeavor to learn all we can about spirits from around the world on So Spirited.
Hi, I'm Sean.
And I'm David.
And welcome to So Spirited. Today, from my bar, we have LUCID Absinthe. So Dave and I have done a little bit of research and we found out a bit about absinthe. I don't know, Dave, go ahead and start. What have you found about absinthe?
So let me start back by saying I've been wanting to try this for years. I heard about this probably back in the 90s, but back then you couldn't hardly find it anywhere. And I've been wanting to try it for a really long time, and now it's available. So we're going to give this a shot.
It's not only available, but it's ours.
Yeah.
So it's time to get the tasting on. So this was 1890 or 1790. 1790.
Right.
Dr. Pierre Ordinaire, I mean, that's a real name, Dr. Pierre Ordinaire. Legend has it that he created absinthe as we know it today. It went for a while after being banned. For what reason?
So the Winemakers Association of France actually did a smear campaign on absinthe because it was so popular. It was like literally billions of gallons of absinthe or something to that effect, right? Or was it millions? Millions.
After so many, it doesn't really matter.
Lots and lots. And it was cutting into the wine business. So they did a smear campaign, started spreading rumors that it caused hallucinations and insanity due to the wormwood that it's made with.
It turns out that that was just BS, right? I mean, not that we don't know about BS nowadays.
Right.
But
Or
smear campaign. Nope. But all that was just, again, BS. And none of that was true. Just recently, it was lobbied. I don't know who was lobbied or how it was lobbied, but they successfully lobbied to make absinthe available after 95 years.
Right, and studies were done and actually tested the actual volume of wormwood, which contains Thujone, which was supposedly the active ingredient that caused the hallucinations and insanity. And they found that the parts per million were way lower than the alarmists were saying it ever was. So
that's right. So it turns out it's okay.
Yeah.
And just a few characteristics of absinthe before we begin the tasting and the nose. This absinthe, at least, is green in color, naturally from the botanicals. Mm-hmm. And the glass is green so that it protects the color, as you'll see when we actually pour it.
Right. And it was so popular that back in the late 1800s, they called happy hour the green hour because of absinthe.
I don't know. How do you say it?
Whatever. I don't know the French. So.
It sounds very
Je
French.
ne parle pas français, which is probably very, very wrong anyway, but yeah.
That sounds good. Yeah. All right. So I think, did we say 1890?
1890. That's kind of when it would hit its peak of popularity. That was when it was created, or
then was it 1790? Then 1890 was super popular. 1890. That's like, what was that Dickensian?
Yeah, that's the Dickens era, the Victorian era.
How did this happen, dude? Really?
Right. Well,
I didn't know you had the power in your fingertips.
Apparently, I do.
All right. Well,
now if only I can win the lottery like that. But
let's get started.
Right. Hey, there's a special way you're supposed to drink this, which is probably
right.
one of the reasons that it's not really all that popular today, because this is very high alcohol by volume. So 62%.
You're supposed to break that down a little bit, dilute it with some sugar and water. So we're going to do our best. We don't have all the way all the tools that you normally use, but we're gonna get by.
Right. Traditionally, you would have a spoon and a sugar cube, and you would take ice water and dribble it over the sugar cube and turn that.
It's called the luge.
Something like that.
So it turns a creamy white, or it turns white. not white necessarily, but
Right.
becomes obscure. And I think that's called a louche, something like that. But you'll see.
Yeah.
So let's crack it open. Okay. So again, this is Lucid by, what's the name of this? The distiller?
Hood River of Oregon.
Hood River Distillers of Oregon. All right. Oops. Almost party foul. And 1890s party foul.
Right. And so, as I understand it too, these guys were the distributor here at Lucid was the first in 95 years to widely distribute absinthe with wormwood in it, traditionally made.
I'm just going to put this right here for later.
All right.
All right. So I'm going to pour this an ounce or maybe just less than an ounce in here.
Right.
And then step out of the way. We good?
That's good. Yeah. So, I hate to do it, but maybe we should pour a little bit more so they can get the green color.
Yeah, so we can show it to you properly.
Yeah.
That's the only
I don't
reason.
want to waste it, but
Only reason.
yeah, that's the only reason.
So I don't know if you can see, it does get a little obscure. There. Just a bit.
It's interesting. It's actually layered out.
Yeah. So I don't know if you're supposed to swirl it or not. I would imagine some of that. And I don't know if it even matters what the legs look like. But I think you've got, I can't pick up, honestly, anything past that anise.
Right.
Even with the added water.
There's supposed to be other herbs and botanicals in here that part of the reason for doing the sugar and the water is to bring out those flavors, but
You do get a nice, I would say, just subtle golden
mhm.
from green after adding that. But all right, we're ready to taste?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh.
Wow.
That's very alive.
Hmm.
That's jumping around there on the tongue.
Yeah. So
it's definitely, so we brought up a rock before. It's definitely a different experience from a rock.
very.
Especially after, I don't know how it tasted prior, but after adding the water, I would say it's not unpleasant.
Yeah, no, not at all. It's very sweet because of the sugar and water mixture that got added. And the anise is very strong,
It is.
definitely. But it's not unpleasantly so.
Yeah, the finish is, whereas with the Iraq,
Mhm.
and I'm sorry, I keep going back to the Iraq, but it's just the most recent anise alcohol
Mhm.
tasted. But
Right.
as opposed to the Iraq, the finish was really nice and it landed beautifully. Like it wasn't as harsh as it was with Iraq.
Right, definitely not. It's very. You use the word alive on the tongue. It's got that tingle that lingers
Immediately.
and it's not the typical alcohol bite either. It's a legit tingle sensation on the tongue.
Indeed.
So,
That's a good point. So it is like there's a slight attack, to use a musical term, slight attack, and then that, as it dissipates, you get a nice mellow fennel and caramel flavor till it finishes. As it completes, like when I breathe in, there's a little menthol.
yes, yeah, definitely.
Maybe that was there all along. All right. You have anything else to add to that?
So I don't, not on this one. Unlike when we tried the Iraq before,
Mhm.
I said I probably would not go out of my way
Yeah.
to drink that. I could drink this. It's still not really kind of
Your cup of anise.
in my cup of anise. Yeah, definitely not. It's I'm still much more of a Scotch type guy, but
Yeah.
but this is good.
So the whole point of this is for us to get outside of our lanes. This is definitely outside of my lane as well. I think that's what you're saying.
For sure.
But I think this is another holiday type drink for me. I might just diverge a bit and do some absinthe during the holidays.
Right.
And since we're already green.
There we go.
All right. So that's it from us. My name's Sean.
And I'm David.
And thank you again for joining us here on So Spirited.
Click like and subscribe.
Cheers.
Thanks.